on this. Hey, Silas.
Hi, Laurie. How are you?
I'm all right. Chaotic times,
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm okay. If you'd asked me maybe 15 minutes, half an hour ago, I might have said that I wasn't so good. But it's actually just I immediately feel different coming to a session because then I know that I can talk about things, face things. But things have been very up and down for me and all around me. There's good and there's not so good happening at the moment, and so there's a part of me kind of stepping back and looking at that and being curious about it, and there's a part of me that is not really enjoying the ride, as it were. I've had a few health problems. I had some dentistry work done, which is very painful, and had a bit of flu for a while, but there's something about that, that kind of makes me feel there's a voice saying you need to rest, or you need to slow down, or you need to be more accepting, or there's something in there,
Mm-hmm.
But since we last saw each other, I've it was great to be able to set those goals of kind of creating the recordings and editing them and polishing them to be able to put up on the website, which I have now done, which is really good. So now I'm going through the process of, looking through people's offerings on the website, having to go through those books, choose which ones I might want to do an audition for. I've done some auditions. I've not heard anything back. And in the other side of my career, the kind of visual side, I have had a few snippets of work, which has been amazing. Just little bits and pieces. A couple of days filming somewhere. I've got another 2 or 3 days coming up on another project in November. I did a rehearsed reading of a play yesterday at the Almeida. And these are small little things, but they feel at the moment like, gifts. There are so few people working.
Yeah.
That any of us getting a little bit of work, we're just really, really grateful for.
Yeah.
And I've had a few auditions, visuals auditions, for television and film, which has been great. It feels like, my agency is busy all of a sudden. So there are things happening. And it's been really good to do those auditions. It's quite hard work because you have to do self-tapes now. Rather than going to meet people to do auditions, so you have to film it, and there's quite a lot involved. And I had a flurry of about 6 auditions over the course of 7 days, which was really intense. I had to put everything down, learn loads of lines, meet up with a friend, do these recordings in a socially distanced fashion, which was really hard.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, bless my agent, because I've got this little bit of work coming up. We had to check on all the others to see if there might be a clash before we accept the contract. Right. And bless my agent, had to tell me that 7 auditions that I went out for, all of them were a no.
No.
And that's kind of hard, but at the same time, it's a reflection of how things are at the moment. There's a lot of competition out there.
Of course.
We're all out of work. So any the few jobs that are coming, in, everybody's unemployed and available for them.
Right.
So that's the reality. So as I said, it's been kind of very up and down. It's lovely to know things are happening. And at the same time, it's kind of hard to be in a more intensified, competitive market.
Yeah. You've said up and down, and earlier you were talking about the ups and downs in the health and dentistry and all that. And I was just thinking, wow, it's just so heavy. And I get the sparks of light of like, wow, an audition, it's and like a year ago where you'd probably go, oh yeah, another audition, right?
Yeah.
And I was just wanting to come up with a metaphor for that. I know you like visuals. What's the metaphor of the up and down? I was going for roller coaster. That doesn't feel quite right.
Well, that's the one thing that came straight to my mind.
Okay.
I know it's a cliche to say a roller coaster ride, but but that actually, no, that's wrong, because when you go up on a roller coaster, it's slow, and it's when you come down, you go like, this is amazing. But actually, this, it's not quite right. Oh, I don't really know. That's a good question. A metaphor. Oh, okay. So the thing that's just popped into my mind is, we have quite a big house, and the boiler is tucked away in the garage. So, it takes a while sometimes for the hot water to come through, because it's a big system to go around.
Right.
So sometimes I turn on the hot tap, to do the washing up or something, or do some washing, and just cold water comes out for a while. And then you have to wait ages, and then suddenly it's hot, and you go, oh great, I can do the washing up. But I don't keep water flowing. I try and save water, so I turn the water off. I do the dishes. When I turn the water back on again, you get a little bit of hot, but then it goes cold again, and you have to wait for the hot. It's sort of like that. Sometimes I feel out of sync with the tap. I've got the hot tap on and nothing's happening. And then I turn it off to save water, and I turn it back on again. It's cold, and then suddenly it's really hot. I'm like, oh, quick! I've got to do all the washing up, and then it runs cold again.
Yes, all your good intentions, right? The good intention of saving water, and then it gets cold.
Yes, exactly. I try and save water by not using too much, and then I waste water waiting for it to heat up.
Yeah.
But it is that thing sometimes of like, I want to have my hand on the tap, and the movement of my hand, in other words, my intention. I'm doing this because we're going to leave a tab. The movement of my hand, in other words, my intention, does not always translate to what I'm given.
Right.
I intend for hot water to happen, and I get cold.
Yeah.
I intend to save water by turning it off, and when I turn it on, it's running cold, and I have to wait for the hot water to get the soap suds and the oil off. And so I kind of like feel like I'm wasting water again. So, and sometimes it falls into sync. Like sometimes my intentions feel like they are answered by life, and I feel like I'm in flow. And then sometimes that all goes away.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite a good metaphor.
In that metaphor, I notice there's the impact of the world situation, like the temperature. If it's super cold out, that's going to be colder faster.
Yeah.
And if it was warmer out, so there's just another impact totally out of your control.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do understand with my life, this is an ongoing thing as an actor, as an artist. I do understand that I'm in a profession over which I have very little control. The only real control I have is how well or not I do my auditions.
Right.
That's the only real control I have. And I hold on to that. I am always in conversation with my agent. Whenever I send a self-tape, I want there to be feedback from them. I don't need them to be praising me. I just need them to say, okay, this is really good, we can send it on. Or this is not quite what they're looking for, can you redo this? If I get the feedback from them that this is great, we're really happy with this, then I have to let it go. It's not up to me. There are so many different factors whether or not I get that job. All people who are going up for it, the fact that we are now auditioned by committee, we send a self-tape and there are so many producers looking at it. All of those things are out of my control, and I have to let it go. So and that's a kind of also a metaphor, as you said, for the bigger picture. There are so many things that are out of my control at the moment. Yeah. The fact that theatres are closed, that there's so many actors unemployed. There's such tentativeness about jobs that are there.
Yeah. And that you have to do distanced auditions and
exactly. Yeah.
A lot to adapt to.
Yeah, it is.
We humans are adaptable, but man, there comes a point, doesn't there, when it's just a little bit much.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's always been the case with me. It is always something of a roller coaster ride being an actor. These great highs when you get a flurry of auditions, and you have so much hope. And we have a joke amongst us actors. We have to be really careful not to spend the money before we get it.
Right.
You go off for a job and you think, oh my God, if I got that job, then I could pay off the mortgage. And then the job doesn't come and you're back to where you were before.
Right.
Or you get a job, it goes swimmingly well, you have a fantastic time, and then you're unemployed again, and you can be unemployed for a very long time. All of the joy of that and the high of that feels like it's gone. So that's always been the case, and it's a tough thing to deal with. But at the moment, that feels hugely intensified by the troubles of the world.
Yeah. So if we were going back to the roller coaster metaphor, which I know isn't perfect, but it's like really high highs and low lows.
Yeah. Very, very stretched out. I mean, the thing about roller coasters is that, they're so high, they're stretched out. It's, the fall feels intense, and the climb up again feels intense. So
relentless.
Yeah. So I suppose in a way, what I kind of wanted to look at today was, I know it's quite a nebulous subject, rather than being more goal oriented and specific, is just dealing with trying to create resilience and trying to keep up momentum.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things now that I'm on this website for trying to get audiobooks, and I've done all of this work and learning how to record and created these samples, is that I'm also in the same position that I am, in the rest of my world as an actor. There's loads and loads of samples of people's books there. I have to choose which ones I want to audition for. I audition for them, I record, I send something off, I don't hear back, and at some point down the line, I know that I will, and somebody will want me to record their book. But after all of this work that I've put into, creating this new possibility, I'm in the same kind of position that I am in all other fields of my acting, which is do a lot of work, send it off, don't hear anything back.
Yeah.
Interview for a job, never hear back from them. Interview for another job, never hear back from them.
Yeah.
And so maintaining my strength through that, maintaining resilience, and also trying to find momentum, get back onto the, find the strength to let the disappointments flow through me, and then find the strength to come back and do some more auditioning.
Yeah. Great. Let's look at resilience and momentum and motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since those are the things we're talking about, I keep coming to a bit of neuroscience that I think might be helpful. If we can use that as a framework. It's not really a framework, it's just a concept to follow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurochemical that has us feel good and provides us some momentum, feelings of motivation, not momentum, motivation. It can create momentum, but it's about motivation. So when you talk about, you get that job and you have it and you go do it, there's a lot of dopamine in that, and just in working and feeling yourself being a great actor and artist, and exercising those muscles that you like to exercise, doing what you like to do. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You also can get dopamine in hope. So if you hope, you talked about, I hope I get that job, and how can I use that money? And dopamine shows up there and it feels good.
Yeah.
Then there is disappointment. And what happens with disappointment? Two things happen with disappointment. When you don't get your expectations met, there's this like hoovering effect, vacuum effect of all the dopamine in your brain is sucked out.
Right.
And all that joy just goes flump. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no, and we need some dopamine to keep going. If we're always deprived of dopamine, that can really lead to depression and other pretty more serious. Yeah. One other thing that happens when we're disappointed is that the pain centers of the brain light up. So we actually feel hurt, quite literally. It's not associated to any part of the body, like if you cut yourself or you have, dental something, you know where that pain is happening. This is like non-localized version of it, but it's the same pain centers that light up in your brain. So we feel hurt and our joy chemicals are zapped.
Wow. Yeah.
So to have resilience means being able to keep moving on, even though some of that has happened. It might also be finding your way to recreate some dopamine, find other sources of dopamine. And and also building your capacity for serotonin, which is that's calm, cool, collected. Serotonin isn't the roller coaster. Serotonin is the hum and the satisfaction and the contentment rather than happiness.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so resilience is about that part of the brain and developing that capacity, contentment, while your dopamine creates a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Does that say anything to you? Tell you anything?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's very interesting about the pain compartments of the brain being stimulated through disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, feeling hurt. It always intrigues me how, as an actor, you know, your immediate response is to take things personally when they don't go your way, and then it takes me a while to, you know, come back from that and recognize it's not about me.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of, but to feel that hurt is kind of really interesting. And the other thing that I didn't actually know that, so that's really good to know that that's all that's going on in my brain. You know. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, of course, is, you know, creating dopamine in other ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, because naturally it's easy to it's easy to think, okay, the way in which I've got to get some more dopamine up is to have the next audition. But then I'm just waiting for the phone to ring from my agent. Come on, I need another audition. Or getting back onto the website and trying to, you know, find some books that I can send samples off for, when I'm not actually in the right frame of mind to do that yet, because, you know, the rejections are still hurting a bit. So looking for dopamine elsewhere, you know, that kind of resonates with me. And immediately I think about, you know, exercising or doing something that I want to do that makes me feel good.
Great. Something else, like what else? So exercising.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, I just started running for the first time in a very long time. I usually do my cardio exercise in the gym. I do a lot of cycling and swimming. Mm-hmm. And I haven't done running for many years because it's very impactful on my knees and my back. Yeah. And only recently, because I'm still nervous to go into a gym and use a gym under the circumstances. I started running again, and, you know, just kind of gently at first, just slowly building it up so that I don't kind of hurt myself in the process. And that's just been really helpful. Just to kind of create that to release dopamine. So there's something in there about, you know, making my exercise regular. I got a little bit disturbed at the beginning of the routine got a bit disturbed at the beginning of the week because I got a bit of throat trouble at the moment, and I was doing a bit of work. So something in there about, you know, creating a regular exercise pattern. Yeah. You know, but the other thing that comes to mind, which is quite interesting, is actually doing things that I want to do. I often have this dilemma when I feel like I'm down because I've had some disappointments. I know that I've got to allow myself to go through that. I'm wise enough to realize that I got to let those emotions flow. But there's another part of me that thinks, no, I got to get back on the bicycle. I got to get back on. And, you know, get to the website and try and do another audition. Try and find some other things that I can apply to. And actually, now we're talking about this neuroscientifically. I think maybe that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to go back to it when you're ready for it. So in the interim, do something that you want to do. Yeah. You know, look at the things that will make you feel good. Like just read your book, or, you know, go for a walk, or shut the curtains and watch a really inspiring movie if you want to do that. You know, whatever it is, have a list of like things that turn me on. You know, and then go and do them without feeling guilty that I'm not getting back onto the site trying to, you know, trying to kind of find the next audition.
Right. When you talk about finding the next audition and gotta go do this and gotta go do that, it reminds me of the addictive nature of dopamine. It's So even if you are getting your dopamine, you get used to it. The body habituates a bit. You go, okay, I got that one. Now I got to do the next one and the next one and the next one. Even if they are all coming through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a tricky chemical to play with because we need it, and it also drives us so hard to get more.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, when you were talking just now about the neuroscience of it and the different chemicals, when you talked about serotonin, I was like, oh, that's the one. Actually, it's not the dopamine. That's what sounded good. Is that kind of
Yeah. So that'll come from
level of,
exercise. Do you get that feeling after a run or after maybe a swim or whatever you're used to doing? That feeling of, yeah, it's not a rah rah kind of feeling, but it's a,
yeah,
I think of it as a hum. It's a
yeah,
like, I'm okay.
yeah, yeah. That's very true. And as we're thinking about that, I think about being in nature and walking.
Yes.
You
Being
know,
with trees.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I read an amazing book years ago by Bruce Chatwin, who was a kind of travel writer,
Mm,
philosopher,
mm,
and he wrote this amazing book called Songlines, or The Songlines, and it's about the Aboriginal people of Australia
mm,
and how they walk themselves, across their nomadic race, and what walking means to them, and the how they kind of like sing their territory and so on and so forth. But
mm,
at the end of the book, there's loads and loads of different snippets about walking and about the nature of walking, and one of the things that struck me, because we are naturally nomadic animals, one of the things that struck me in what he said is that when human beings walk, they get themselves into the rhythm of the universe,
oh, interesting. Mm,
and that just came to mind actually of that's a feeling of serotonin for me, is that when you're walking and you are in the rhythm of the universe, which is a great reminder that now is not my time. Now is not my time to be on a film set. Now is
mm,
my time to be, waiting. And I have developed now this very real philosophy that when I'm not on a film set, that means that somebody else is.
mm,
And I looked at them and I think, this is great. This is your time. I'm happy for you, knowing that my time will come. And when I'm on a film set, there's a bunch of people like I was previously having to go for a walk in the park. And
mm.
that's about the kind of the rhythm. That's about the rhythm of the universe of, somehow biding your time until it's your time to turn to be on set. It's your time to be given the gifts.
So imagine that's your mantra moving forward. I'm not sure if
Mm.
mantra is the right word, but finding or aligning with the rhythm of the universe
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
is so different from a roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And that's just a great reminder. It's so interesting to come at it from that neuroscientific point of view, that it's actually serotonin is the thing. And immediately as we talk about that, I think about that, getting to the rhythm of the universe, which means accepting everything,
Mm,
just not needing the next hit, but knowing that your next time will come. And for the moment, this is where you are.
mm,
And allowing that to happen. There's a much greater acceptance. And I get that when I'm with nature. Because the thing about nature is, especially this time of the year, it is my favorite time of the year, autumn. I absolutely love autumn. And I love it because of the melancholia of it.
mm,
It's very melancholic. You're watching things die, but
mm.
you're watching things die beautifully. It's absolutely the most beautiful time of year.
Right.
It's quite stunning. And I love seeing these trees turn colors. But what we're watching is is leaves dying and falling to their fate, as it were. And then they are then, mulching and feeding something else that needs to grow later.
Yeah.
So I love this time of the year. And it is very much about, actually observing that is observing death and loss.
I don't know if you meant it this way, but I'm really getting the rhythm, like the cyclical nature of the seasons rhythm of the universe is a longer, slower rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's the sort of daily rhythm and the
Yeah.
seasonal work rhythm, and there's possibly different rhythms. Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah. And there is something about when you accept the slowness of it and the seasonality of it, then there's greater strength in knowing that you can be resilient over a longer period of time. That's for the good. Whereas the dopamine, the kind of up and down, the rush, and then the drop from that rush, and then the need for the next rush, is a much faster kind of graph.
Yeah.
And I like that sense. I actually feel calmer. I feel like this conversation is slowing me down and going, it's okay. Yeah.
So is this what you want to move forward with to help you with your resilience?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. There's something in there that, it's funny how it just comes back to trees with me, doesn't it?
It's great.
It does.
Yeah. So do you have time? Will you be able to find trees and get yourself near some trees?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I can just see myself now. So creating a regular exercise regime. I don't like the word regime.
It does sound very dictatorial, doesn't it?
Yeah. Just a regular pattern is the word I used earlier, actually. And I want to get some more walking and get back to those trees and remind myself that actually what that is about is about slowing down and accepting change.
Great.
Yeah.
And what do you want to do around auditions? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to your agent will keep telling you about things. There's still the website and the books and all. What do you want to do with that in your rhythm?
I think this has been really good as a kind of, it's so good to talk about the neuroscience of it, and so good to talk about the different effects that the chemicals have. There's something about, trying to find that serotonin level, that's important here. So there is something in not striving for the next rush, actually just do the audition well and let it go. And the auditions that I'm looking for myself in terms of the audiobook website is go to them. Don't go to them. Just check yourself. Don't go to them because you're needing the next dopamine rush. Go to them and work on them when you feel like you're in that serotonin plateau, because that's probably it's gonna send out a different message.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a question of reminding myself about those chemicals and checking myself. Which one am I looking for a rush here, or am I in that place of calm? Yeah.
I imagine it changes your voice completely.
Yeah, I would imagine so, actually. And I think energy is everything when you're auditioning, like when you're interviewing. How you are in yourself comes across.
Yeah.
When you're desperate for a job, you don't get it.
Right.
You go there and you're very calm in yourself, and you're working from a very centered place of whatever the outcome is the right outcome. Then you just you're more often than not, you're so much more attractive to the people who are looking at what it is that you have to give.
Yeah. There's so much we communicate to each other unconsciously, and there's so little that we consciously pick up.
Yeah, that's another good reminder, actually, in this, that I'm probably going to serve myself so much better if I'm calm and on that serotonin level than if I'm because however much you try and cover it, people feel your energy.
Yeah. This is just, this might be a question just for my own interest, so forgive me for that. So I'm thinking about when you're desperate for something, when we're desperate for dopamine, we come across as desperate, hungry, or something. And that reminded me of that expression, like, you've got to be hungry for something in order to get it. I was just wondering what you thought of that, because I'm totally with you in everything you just said. And then what about that thing about conveying hunger? I don't know, does that mean anything to you?
Yes. Yes, it does actually, and this the only way in which I can answer that question is, it's a very kind of long time of looking at my life as an actor, over a very long period of time. It has been very up and down. There have been times, as there are with all actors who stay in the profession for a long time. There have been times when I've really wanted to give up, and had become very close to giving up as well. And right now there are a lot of people who are dropping off, and the government is trying to kick people off as well, suggesting that they go and retrain. And that's a huge challenge. But during those times, I've always looked inside myself and thought, can I do this? Am I ready to? And I've always come back to the fact that no, actually, I really love doing what I'm doing. And that devotion to it is a hunger, Right. I'm hungry to continue as long as I possibly can, and as long as I can answer the question, do you still really want this? And every time I'm able to answer that question, yes, that gives me a huge amount of strength to be able to deal with the knocks that keep coming, I always think about the sporting metaphor just came into my head. The great fight between Ali and Foreman, the rumble in the jungle when Ali was 10 years older than Foreman. They made that amazing documentary about it called When We Were Kings. And there was an extraordinary moment when Ali went to the ropes. He did what they call the rope-a-dope, and he just took the punches from Foreman. Just kept taking the punches and kept it. And Foreman was, twice his size and 10 years younger than him, massive. He was the Mike Tyson of his day. And he just kept punching Ali, and people outside the ring were going, they've got to stop this. They've got to stop this. He's going to kill him. And, Norman Mailer was reporting it. He was actually frightened that his friend Ali was going to die. And then suddenly Foreman tired. He got so tired of all the punching. And as he got tired, there was that one split second where he kind of dropped his eyelids, and that's when Ali hit him and won the fight. And I always think about that because I think, as an actor, you've got to go onto the ropes and you've got to just keep taking the punches. So, I ask myself when I'm on the ropes, I can get out anytime I want. You're always in choice.
Right.
Do you really want to go now? Are you done yet? And when the answer comes back, no, then I go, oh, that's my hunger.
Right.
I'm still hungry for this. I still love this. But I don't think of the hunger in that kind of desperation, like I'm really ambitious for this. I'm really hungry for this. I think of it as a deep love. I have a deep love of what I do, and that's still there. So I'll stay in the relationship.
Yeah. That's a wonderful distinction between desperation.
Yeah. Because I often berate myself. I think I'm not as ambitious as I see a lot of people are. And those people have like real hunger, but that's not how I'm built. I don't have that kind of, some people are incredibly forceful, and it's just not me I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But the difference is that, I'm not sure that if I had that kind of ambition, it would lead to any sort of sense of happiness in me at all.
Right.
So from a day-to-day basis, when I think about my hunger as an actor, I think about that deep love of it that keeps me going. That's my resilience. And I don't think you can fake the kind of hunger that makes you go into an audition room and go like, right, I'm going to get this one, because actually it's not down to you if you're going to get it. I go in there, I go, right, I want my deep love of it to make sure that I do a good job at this audition. And then,
that brings us full circle back to what you said in the beginning about the only thing you can control is how you show up in that audition.
Yeah.
And if you have your deep love, your hunger and deep love, and none of the desperation, you've got your serotonin and your even keel, to throw in another metaphor. Then you will show up as best you can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, this is great. This has been a great session just to bring it down to that very simple thing of chemicals in the brain. It's just a very good reminder to recognize that that's what's going on. Nothing bigger than that. And actually what I want to do is just get to that point where I'm producing serotonin rather than trying to produce dopamine.
Yeah, great. So what's your takeaway from this conversation?
It's quite interesting actually, because I think about, we talked about colors of leaves, And in my mind, I can see, the green leaves, and I can see the orange leaves, and I can see the red leaves, and there's the kind of traffic light thing. It's not green that I'm going for; it's orange.
Okay.
And that feels like the kind of serotonin.
Okay.
Just to keep that. So that's my takeaway: is going out, do some walking over the next few weeks. Get some good walking in. Keep that exercise pattern going. Create one, actually, a regular one, and build that. And just try to keep that orange in mind, the orange of the leaves, which is the mixture of allowing things to die, allowing things to go, but also allowing new life to come in.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Allowing, such a powerful word.
Allowing, yeah.
Okay. So you'll do that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Step up those little exercise routines.
Yeah. And I really feel that energy from you, the difference, and it's partly conveyed by your voice, but I think there's other things that it's very powerful.
Yes, it is really. I feel a lot calmer and a lot more settled. Yeah. And just taking that into the auditions as well. The auditions the visuals ones that come from my agent. Just keep that thing of doing absolutely the best I can in that audition, in the self-tape, and letting it go. And recognizing that there is a kind of a flow to whether or not I get the job that I'm not in control of. But the auditions that I can create myself, work outside of trying to get those auditions to get myself into a place of serotonin and orange and calm and settled, and then bring that into setting up the next possibility.
Nice.
Rather than jumping into the next possibility with that need for a dopamine rush.
Great. Sounds very solid plan.
Yeah, that does. That's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Something I just invite you to think about, because I don't want to open up a whole new conversation, although this could. There was your vision that we did a few sessions ago about where you're going. And I know you have that visual. And my invitation to you to just think about is, how does all of this connect with that vision? I suspect they're just hand in glove, but will you have a think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can, there's stuff in my head that immediately connects.
Yeah. Okay. But I'll leave you with the question.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Silas.
Great, Laurie. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Where's my off?